fifth sorrowful mystery, the crucifixion and death of our Lord. Our God, thou art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven.
Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those.
Walking with Mother Mary to Calvary. On Sunday, 2nd March 2014, I was privileged to watch the film, The Gospel According to St. Matthew, by Pasolini, which was showing at the St. John's Wood Our Lady's Anglican Church. What particularly caught my attention in this film was the scene where the fearful followers of Jesus, mostly comprising women, and among them Mary, the mother of the Lord, following behind the procession that led Jesus to be crucified. I was moved by the image of the mother of the Lord sobbing, her face laden with deep sorrow and grieving in agony for her only son, knowing too well what was going to happen to him as he carried his cross to the place of the scar, Golgotha as it was called. I imagine the pain, the suffering that the Blessed Virgin Mother of God had to endure. I wondered what was going on in her mind at that moment. It was, if not distress and pain at seeing her innocent and beloved son being treated as a thief, seeing her anguish walk to Calvary, I asked myself, what consolation could she ever get? Simeon had predicted this state of affairs when, blessing the infant Jesus, had said to the Mother Mary, "This child is destined for the failing and the rising of many in Israel, and to be a sign that will be opposed, so that the inner thoughts of many will be revealed. And a sword will pierce your own soul too." Matthew chapter 2, verses 34 to 35. Indeed, the sword had been struck hard into Mary's soul, and there can be nothing more agonizing, more tormenting, more traumatizing than to see your own and only child being struck to death. The Blessed Virgin Mother witnessed her son being pierced with a lance to his heart, saw the bleeding, and heard his last cry of agony, "Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani?" My God, why have you forsaken me?" Take it upon yourself. Imagine a 48 or 49 years old mother in her prime age having to lose her child who has grown up to be independent and successful in every way. It is quite difficult to accept such a loss. How can she be consoled? I suppose the Blessed Virgin Mary can only be consoled if each one of us braves herself or himself to walk along with her to Calvary. This is not an easy undertaking. It demands emotional and distressful restraint, enduring pain, sorrow, anguish, and heartbrokenness. It also demands acceptance of the situation and forgiveness of the perpetrators. During the walk to Calvary, the Blessed Virgin Mary carries all our burdens, especially those of the mothers and indeed parents who witness the catastrophic end of life to their beloved children at the hands of ruthless people, tyrant regimes, environmental and natural calamities, or in sickness. It is amazing to hear of people who have been on the route to Calvary with the Blessed Virgin Mary share their experience. Here, allow me to narrate to you the testimony of a young Indian mother whom I suppose has experienced how walking with Mary to Calvary can be fulfilling even in the face of approaching death. This is her story. You, blank space, are part of my life, and it has been a life worth living. No, this is not a belated Thanksgiving dedicated to those who have changed my life and made it worth living. So who is this blank space that became such an intrinsic part of my life that survival hinged on it and made life worth living? I am a young, hot-blooded, 36-year-old Indian woman. Hot-blooded, yes. Well, with all my generous portions of bladder that I carry along, I do still consider myself hot. Hot because inside me is a burning desire to living life to the fullest. That burning desire creates that hotness which I think is way cooler or hotter than any bikini-clad superstar. So what is the secret to my eternal, everlasting hotness? Living life to the fullest is my hot secret. How? By making a difference. To me, she says, it's very simple. Making a difference in every possible situation is directly proportional to living life to the fullest. That blank space, she says, inspired me to live life to the fullest. A close friend once told me, making a difference to others comes naturally to some people. I disagree. To make a difference to someone else's life, you have to surely and silently, not always, get out of your zone, combat obstacles along the way, work hard with a focus on the result, and thus make your presence felt, she says. This is what that blank space did to my life as well. It came along, made a difference, became part of my life, and yes, admittedly, it has been a life worth living. Rather boastfully, I have always thought of myself as this super being who wants to, will and can do anything that I want to make a difference. Yes, up to just a few years ago, till this blank space came to my life and personally demonstrated how I could do things differently and yet make a difference. The blank space humbled me beyond words, and it's only through this humbling experience I had to learn the magic of a truly renewed life. She says, before this note begins to resemble the unraveling of a mystery man or a sweeter than splendor overture, to all of you who have truly been part of my life, it's time to introduce you to the blank space that has been part of my life for 5 years and has truly made life worth living. She wrote this on the World Cancer Day. She says, that blank space that changed my life 5 years back is cancer. If you fill in all the blank spaces in my note above, cancer, you might find it almost disgusting to read that. Cancer humbled me. Cancer made a difference to my life. Yes, surely, yet silently, came into my system, combated my immunity, and made its presence felt. Cancer literally brought me down to my knees, and sometimes still continues to remind me what life without cancer would have been. I am not ashamed to say that life without cancer may not be worth living. Without cancer, she says, I would have ceased to realize the fondness and familiarity of friends, the superhero-ness of a father figure and a spouse, the collaboration of my children, the miracle of motherhood, the abundance of an angel above, the benevolence of a benefactor, and most importantly, the glory of God. The best advice I have ever come across is never to judge and never to be negative. And so, cancer I have not judged, but patted you on the back for entering my life and transforming it for the better. While giving cancer its recognition, she says, and yet keeping it in its place, lest it feels all powerful, you, my friends to whom I have dedicated this note, as well have filled that blank space when life with cancer seemed cruel and made it truly worth living. Lest, she says, let us emulate the mechanics behind a carcinoma, combat obstacles, enter lives, and make a positive difference. After all, don't we all aspire to stay hot-blooded and to live life to the fullest by making a positive difference? She says, cheers to the miracle of my mother. The Mother of God, and to the fondness and familiarity of friendship that I share with each of you and have always found solace and love from each of you who has truly made life worth living. This brave young Indian mother is still alive and full of life. She has accepted her situation and forgiven her perpetrator, cancer. She has embraced our Mother Mary in her life, and she prays the Rosary every day. Mary, Virgin and Mother, pray for us.